Good evening, friends. This won't be a very long video. I was going to talk to you about supplies that I think you might need if you're interested in plein air painting. Things that I use. Maybe you have some different ideas. Add them below if you do. We can always share ideas. First thing you need to decide is what type easel you want to use. I do occasionally see like a watercolorist sitting in a chair working on their lap in a watercolor book. Maybe that would be your choice. Keep it simple. I like the idea of getting my canvas up in front of me, my views out here. I like having my canvas here. So as far as easels, oh my gosh, there's just a multitude of choices. I started out years ago with a French easel, heavy and big. Later on I switched to a half French easel, and I will show you what that is. This is going to be a little crazy. I'm not sure how well. The half French easel comes in a tote bag with a handle, and it's not light either, but it definitely is better than a full French easel. If you don't know what a French easel is, it's solid wood. It's basically a wood box. This is a half French easel. And again, it's not super light. And it has legs in the back that snap and but fold out. And then this top opens up. You set your canvas there. You can put your paints inside it, which I never did because it does mess it up. I would pull the drawer out and put my palette box on that and bungee cord the palette box on. So I like the half French easel, and I, on occasion still might use it. I also have a little lightweight Winsor Newton. This one's really light, throw over your shoulder, has telescoping legs, but it's kind of wimpy. And if you're going to use this, you're going to have a table to set on the side to put your palette box on. There's just no place to put it. But it has its uses too. It can sit on a tabletop, or you can stand. And you have to decide that too. Do you want to stand? Do you want to sit? If you can stand, I believe it's better to stand. If you're going to sit, you got to carry a chair. Another supply. I use an Easel easel. I'll show it to you. It's basically, again, a wood box, as so many of them are. A lot of people make homemade ones, even out of cigar boxes, and lots of things you can do. But I'll show you, it's a wood box. Has a handle, has a shoulder strap, and it clips onto a tripod. So you have to have a tripod for it. And it's like a quick release mechanism. You just kind of snap it into there. Then the top opens up. Not sure how well you can see. It's kind of a mess. Your paints go down in there and your canvas goes up in there. I like that. Whatever I can get on my shoulders, I can carry. So, I mean, it's not easy plein air painting. I say we're a pack mule, and you kind of are. But I feel like if I can get it on there, I can carry it. So that's what I use right now, is the Easel. And I have a tripod that I bought for the Easel. See, and the legs go out. So I could sit or I could stand, and then there's the mechanism on top that the box clips into. And it has a bag to carry that into. But I should have checked the price for you. You can Google it, but they're not cheap. Easel easels and tripods. It's not a cheap way to go. So if you're starting out, you might consider maybe just the half French easel. You can probably pick up one cheaper. Pardon me, my nose just keeps running here. So first decision is the easel. Okay. Then I bought a Columbia suitcase I'm going to try to angle it down and show you some of this. Hopefully. I have a Columbia suitcase. It has rollers, it has an extending handle. I put everything in that. In this plastic tote here, I have all my paints. I have a little cup for my solvent and my solvent. I got a palette knife in here. A little scraper that you see me use. And this I'll go over in a minute. So all that goes in there. This snaps shut. It goes down in the bottom of the box. Okay? Down the bottom of my suitcase. And I can get, you gotta have paper towels. You've got to take care of your trash. Whatever you take in, you should bring out. So I use these throwaway bags and I tie it to the leg of my easel and I bring all my trash back out with me. I never leave anything behind. But this suitcase, I mean, you can look them over. There's bags. I've went through a lot of things over the years. I bought bags that are intended for this purpose too. But I've got all kinds of brushes in here, extra storage pocket here, out here. Now I use water mixable oils, as you probably know, and I use water for cleanup. This is how I carry my water. This is one of those bottles for flavored water, tall, skinny, and it doesn't leak, which is nice. It just doesn't leak. So I just, dirty as it looks, I just keep filling that up, and that's what I take for my water when I go out. If you're a traditional oil painter, of course, you're going to be using solvent. I have a little hook that hangs on the side of my Easel box, and I use this is a bucket, would be solvent if you were a traditional oil painter, but I put my water in here, hanging on the side of my Easel box. So we got our trash bag tied to the leg, the water hanging on the side, and then on the leg of my tripod, I put my brush clip. This is a easelbrushclip.com. You can buy these. This is a double. They make singles, and it clips very nicely on the leg, and I can separate dirty, clean brushes, whatever I want to do. I use this at home here too. I paint on a studio easel here, and I clip this on the leg and use it here too. It's wonderful. I would replace it if this bit the dust. I'd be buying another one. You're going to want to carry bug spray. You go outside, spray your legs, your neck, whatever. You know, you're going to want to have sunscreen on, a hat. I would suggest you dress in layers, so as it warms up, you can peel layers off. This is something that I really love. When you go out to paint and you decide what you're going to paint, if you're lucky, you can stand under a tree and get some nice shade to paint. But it doesn't work that way often. So I have this, which is called a shade buddy. Comes in a carry bag again. Got a short handle, got a long handle, goes over your shoulder. You ought to see me heading out to paint. I just got stuff hanging everywhere. Love my shade buddy. Okay. Show you that. The umbrella comes up. You can lock it into place. Then you can move it back and forth wherever you want. This obviously strapped it down. It is dark inside because you don't really want it white inside because white reflects light. Like you don't really want to paint in white either. So, and it's pretty good size. And the great thing about it is that's how the bottom is made. Very sharp, heavy duty. Unless the ground is a rock, which it is sometimes, you can step on it and push it into the ground. There are times that you just can't get it in there too, or the ground is rocky and you just keep trying and trying and trying. You wonder why people would plein air paint, wouldn't you? It's not easy. A few extra things. I mean, you're going to want your obvious things. You're going to need your paint, you're going to need your brushes, you're going to need your solvent if you use solvent, your water, your bug spray, your hat. in my opinion, you have to own a view catcher. I have got to buy a new one. Love it. I've gotten sticky lately. This is a view catcher. I know it's very dirty. You adjust it for the format of your painting. There are some measurements on it. If you are new to plein air, probably first time I painted out was probably, I don't know, 15 years ago. It's overwhelming. So first you find something that you love that really catches your eye, whether it's a house catching the sun or a bush in full bloom. And then you look through the view catcher and you move it around to set up a good composition. You see people sometimes, doing this same kind of idea. You're trying to come up with a good composition. So you look through the view catcher and determine what you're going to paint on your canvas, and think about, composition and placement too. Where you want your focal point. Some people draw 9 squares on your canvas, 2 vertical lines, 2 horizontal lines, and ideally your focal point should go in one of those intersecting areas. So if I had a barn in the scene, I would not dead center it. I probably would look to put it maybe down in one of those intersecting, off maybe to the left a little bit. You got to have one. If you don't have one, if you paint from life, you got to have one, whether you paint still lifes or you paint outside. Of course, paintbrushes, and then there's a few little extra things here I'll show you. Oh, one more thing I wanted to mention. I like hard panels for outside. I have paint on stretch canvases, of course. The reason not to, in my opinion, is the light comes through them. But you could put a piece of cardboard behind there or something. I mean, there's ways around it. But again, the light comes through it. And you want to try not to paint in full sun. I see people do that. When you do that, everything is so lit that when you get back inside, very good chance that your painting is going to be much darker than you intended. So it's good to get in the shade or create your own shade. Show you a few little tools that I have that I use sometimes. This is by Easel. This is like a dry erase board, kind of. It has the composition lines on it that I talked about. It has a kind of a 3 value scale on the top you could look through, and it comes with a little marker. And it's like if I have a towel here, but it's like a dry erase board that wipes off. And how this is useful, well, if you could hold and study, you could sketch your whole scene on there and transfer that drawing to your canvas. But it's really useful even just to put out in front of you and get maybe the angle of a roof, or say you're painting a building and the front of the building, I'm not sure if you can see what I'm doing there. There's the front of your building. And sometimes it's very hard to judge how far in the distance the side goes. So with this, you can tell, you can use this to kind of get things correct. So I've used that occasionally. I've actually have used it when I've had a still life here. I tried not to move it. It's tricky. And I sketched the whole still life on and gridded the canvas. I used it that way and transferred the drawing. So that's some tool you might try. A few other things. I got this one time in a gift exchange. You hang it around your neck. It has a little grid on it. Has a very nice value scale, so you can look through with a little hole. Has a color wheel. Just a little cute little tool. It's even got measurements on the sash. I'm trying to see who makes this. I believe it's yeah, that's the maker of it right there, I think. So something I got in a gift exchange I haven't used much. And I think the last thing I'll share with you is these. These are by Eric Rhodes. Paintbynote.com, it says on here. Here, this is what they are. If you look through the red lens, it really helps you see value. Hard to explain exactly till you get the opportunity. I have a piece of the red lens that I can look through too, but I ordered the glasses a while back. It helps you, again, see value. So just a little tool you might throw in your bag when you get out there. You know, the more the better. But I think that's most of the things I can think of. Tripod, umbrella. You know, of course, water to drink, and well, Wednesday's supposed to be a pretty day. We'll see. The next time I get set up to paint outside, I'll show you my setup before I start painting, but I think that's most everything. You'll learn. You'll learn if you don't have it. Maybe you'll be with a group and you can borrow it, but try it if you haven't. Like I say, it can be horrible or it can be wonderful. If it's wonderful, it's the wind's probably the most annoying thing. But if it's a day that you know you've got something beautiful to paint and you're excited about that, and you know it's not real windy and it's not real hot, it can be just so pleasurable to be out there. And to paint from life is such a good experience. If you only paint for photographs and you like doing landscapes, photographs don't show you everything. You'll find that if you get out there, they tend to mask shadows together, where if you're standing there looking, you're seeing into the shadow. So it's really good to help you grow as an artist. But it can be a total flop, and that's okay too. You go out and maybe you wipe it off when you come home. But whatever we do, even if it's a failure, I think it helps you to learn, you know, help you see value. That's really important. But again, I don't think you ought to be making up stuff. That's how I feel. You should either be working from life or working at least from a photograph, unless you have a ton of experience under your belt. I mean, if you took a person that did a lot of plein air painting and you said, make up a landscape, they could probably do a pretty good job. But if you're not real experienced and you're painting out of your head, it's probably going to look like you're painting out of your head. Oh, one more thing is I wouldn't work real large either if you're going to work outside. The canvas panel I showed you, that's an 8 by 10. I work that size a lot. You could even go 6 by 8, 5 by 7. There's a lot of reasons not to work really big. I wouldn't until you get more experienced. For one thing, you're going to be fighting the wind, and the bigger the canvas, the more the wind will catch it. And plus, it's just more area to cover, and your time is limited because the light's moving really quick. We'll talk more about plein air paint when I'm actually painting out there. But there's things you just have to do. You got to catch the light or catch the shadow real quick because, like I say, it just keeps moving. I hope this was helpful. If you haven't tried to plein air paint when the weather gets better, I hope you do try it. And I'll paint soon. I may even paint in here, and then we'll paint outside soon. Thanks for joining me. Like and subscribe if you haven't. Bye-bye.